Hey everybody, welcome. Welcome, welcome. It is Leah Ray with Digital Trailblazer. Super excited to be with you tonight. Monday, November 27th. Believe it or not, we are at the end of the year already. It is time, like past time. In all reality, it is time to really hustle if you want to launch at the beginning of January. So that's what we're going to talk about today. How do you go from getting ready to get ready, right? Where you're not making progress, you're maybe starting from scratch, and you want to launch in January with a new coaching offer, a new course. How do you do that? And how do you do that and get real revenue, like a $10,000 launch, a beta launch? Okay. Let's walk through that and let me give you some really good insights to help you through this process because this is what it's all about, ladies and gentlemen. So many people have I run into who have great talent. They've got great ways to help people, but they're stuck in the getting ready to get ready stage. They are stuck not taking action. They are stuck not offering what they have to the world. So enough is enough. Get your pen and paper handy. Get ready to start writing down some notes and let's figure this baby out so that you can have a really blessed January and in reality set you up for a beautiful year. Now, if you're confused by the term beta launch, let's get some definitions out of the way first because this is really important. And as you jump on, say hi, let me know where you're watching from. We got people on all areas of the interwebs and all over the world, which is really cool. So let me know where you're here from. And yes, let's see who has the most folks. What country and what platform? How about that? I have my guess. My guess I could assume where folks are, but let's see what that actually pans out for. And I have treats as always. If you'd like to be a guest on our podcast, if you have not checked out our podcast, ladies and gentlemen, we went live last week. It is amazing. It's really, really good. Like if I do say so myself, right? Like even it's a podcast that I would 100% listen to, subscribe to if it wasn't me. Like if I wasn't the producer, if I wasn't the person behind the scenes. It's really, really good. The guests that we have on this are amazing. And there's so many cool things that we're talking about and doing. So you absolutely want to subscribe, Digital Trailblazer Podcast. We are on all the podcast platforms. So definitely definitely subscribe to that. And if you want to be a guest on our podcast, if you type in podcast, I'll give you the link to iTunes. So you can go listen to it on iTunes and it'll be on iTunes or on a web platform. It's fine. Just on the internet. But if you want to be a guest yourself and get promoted to our almost 200,000 people that we have all over the different platforms and email lists and everything else, then you absolutely want to comment guest and I will get you I will message you afterwards. I will get you the application so that we can chat, see if we have a good fit and if you'd be a really great guest for our podcast. So and if at any time you're like, this sounds great but I need some help, no worries, let's chat. Just type in info, we'll talk, see how we can help you out. But launching, we're going to talk about a beta launch, a $10,000 beta launch for January 1st, right? How do we do that? Let's define it first because I know that there's a lot of confusion. There's a lot of terminology in the space and some people use different things. So what does that even mean? A beta launch is the first time that you're bringing something to the market. Typically, you're going to have this at a reduced price point and you're going to work more closely with your clients, with your customers than normal. So even like a course that's not going to have coaching long term during the beta launch, they'll typically have like live Q&A sessions or whatever to give people support during that beta launch. Okay. The idea with the beta launch, the value of that beta launch really isn't even in the money. Yes, you can make $10,000 in a beta launch. Yeah, we've had clients make way more money in a beta launch. But the real value isn't the money. The real value in the beta launch is the testimonials, because great testimonials will allow you to make way more money down the road. So you're going to pour into your customers, you're going to pour into your clients, help them get amazing results and rock and roll. Now, I love beta launches. I love the whole live launch concept where instead of falling into the trap of sitting back behind your desk for a month, 2, 3, 4, 6 months, something too long, and creating this beautiful course or this beautiful program, instead, let's create a really good outline for your program and just sell it like that and deliver it live. So if it's going to be a 6-module course, deliver it over 6 weeks. If it's going to be a 12-week or a 6-week coaching program, great. You're going to create it each week that you're doing it. You're not going to sit up front and do all of it. You're going to create it as you go. Why is this a good idea? Because it is a huge pitfall for people to fall into, that they sit down and they spend months, if not years, creating the program and never making any money. And the reality is most people won't stay the course. They will let life get in the way because they're not making money from this. They're not seeing wins. And so they're ready to give up. They're ready to move on, or they just set it on the side frequently and let other things take precedence because it's not producing. And I don't want that for you. I want you to produce. I want you to get amazing results. I want the people who are waiting for you to be able to quit waiting, to get your help, to do great, great things. Please drop some. My comments are not coming through on. Oh my gosh, tons of comments. Yeah, my comments aren't coming through on StreamYard for whatever reason because it's being stupid. So I'm gonna have to have multiple pages open here. Yay, Candy! Good to see you. Good to see you, Mark. Hello, 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 y'all. Okay. So we're talking a beta launch because I want to push you to get this on the market as quickly as possible. So what does that mean? That means that you need to have the basic marketing components. You need a good outline of what you're going to cover, what's in the program, what does that program look like? And then you need your marketing message of how you're going to sell this baby. Like what's the frame, what's the angle, what's the pitch? You need all of your marketing assets and you need to go out and start selling, generating traffic, generating traffic, generating leads, and then closing them into the sale so that you can start in January. Okay. So let's take a $500 program as an example. So let's imagine you want this at $997 long term. Okay. So $997 to get $10,000 on a $997 offer. That's 10 sales. Really not that hard, right? However, if you do, let's break that in half because it's maybe you're halving this and you're decreasing this price significantly so that you can make more sales, so that you can add a ton of value. Like your beta launch, it should be a no-brainer. People should sign up just because they get access to this stuff, even if they don't even have time to do it right away, because it's just like a duh. This is so good that they don't want. You got to do it, right? And so part of that is giving a really good discount on the price. I've been a beta user, a beta client in many programs. And if I had an opportunity to just join someone's regular program or to join their beta program, and I know that those people, like the person's good and that they're great at what they do, I will join the beta program all the time. Because that beta program, yeah, there's going to be some bumps in the road. That's why they give you a big old discount, right? But you get more access to the people. That's how you create relationships with honestly some bigwigs, right? With some really, really big names in industries, because you join their beta program and that's where they work with people more and that's where you see them more. So I love me some beta. Okay. So you don't feel bad about the beta. If people who know that the beta opportunity is huge. Okay. So decrease your price. So the final price will be $997. Let's work with a price point of $500 for your January launch. That means you need 20 sales to get that. So let's work our magic, work this backwards. Tonight, I want you staying up after this live, and I want you to at least get the outline created. If it's a coaching program, what are you covering every week? If it's a course, what are you covering in every module? Okay. So, if it's start with the end in mind, what's the result people get from going through your course or your coaching program, and then work your way backwards. Okay, well, this is the end result. Then they need to have all of these milestones along the way to get to that result. Okay, great. Now those milestones can become your modules or your weeks if you want. And then under those milestones, you get different lessons. And those are all of the different lessons that you need. Those are the steps that you need to reach that milestone. Make sense? So tonight, your assignment is to create the outline. Just put pen to paper, write it down. Don't overthink it. Don't go, oh, I got to do X, Y, and Z. Just do it. Okay. Like you have your expertise. You're good at career development or at sales or at whatever it is that you're really good at, right? Helping people lose weight. Okay. That's fabulous. Run with that. Make it happen. Put it down. I want you though to focus big time on results. People don't want information. A result isn't information. It's not knowledge. The result is not knowledge. The result is the change, the transformation. That's the result of helping transform their health, helping them to lose 20 pounds, 30 pounds, 40 pounds, helping them to make more sales, increase their revenue, increase their profit margins. Like, what is the result that you help people achieve? Focus on that, because that is how we're going to position and frame all of this. Okay. So make sure you're focused on that result. Hey, Tamika, I'm stuck on selling. Okay, well, let's get into that. All right. We're going to get there. So we will cover that. All right. So tonight you're going to do that outline, and then you're going to jump right in and keep moving forward to get things done. I'm going to take, you need your marketing message defined. That's the result that you help people achieve, and the who, the specific people that you help them to achieve that result. So for example, Todd and I's first course, we sold a course that taught lead generation to network marketers. And it was lead generation on Twitter. It was organic, but automated, generated leads from Twitter for network marketers, right? Like, so it was very, very, very specific, right? It was lead gen force on Twitter for network marketers, laser focused. What was cool? Why did we crush it with our ads and with our webinar? Because it was super dialed in. We knew that the pains and the struggles and the goals and the dreams of network marketers, and we could show them this really cool strategy on Twitter to generate leads. It worked gangbusters. So that's what we did. Okay, so get really, really specific. So tonight you're going to do the outline and the message, the who you help and the result you help them achieve. Then we're moving this forward. Okay, you need to generate leads, and you need to generate leads, warm them up, and then launch. Okay, so if it's a $500 program, you can jump on sales calls and do that. You can also use webinars. So let's just talk through the webinar scenario. Okay. I love webinars. I've sold millions of dollars on webinars. Webinars are fabulous. I've also sold millions of dollars on sales calls. So there's pros and cons to each. Some of you might hate the idea of sales calls, and that's okay. Others may hate the idea of a webinar, and that's okay. We can make this work. But at $500, you have options. You can do either. Okay. So let's just talk through the scenario of a webinar. So leading up to your launch, which let's say what is the day of the week? Is January 1st. It's a Friday. No, that's December 1st. No, it is a Friday. Okay. No, it is a Monday. Okay. So that makes sense. So you're going to launch Monday, December or January 1st. I would probably tell you to move it to the 3rd, but that's okay. Let's just imagine if you're going to launch on the 1st. That is when you're going to do a webinar, a live webinar selling your beta launch. So what does that mean, a live webinar? And you'll see like Jermaine, who I was just talking to in a coaching call last week, I think it was, but his mind was blown on what it actually takes to make a powerful webinar that will actually convert into a sale. Because he'd been doing them for a long time, but they weren't really producing that well. Yeah. There's a lot that goes into a really high converting, beautiful webinar. There's a lot that goes into that. But you need to basically, you're going to take them on the emotional journey. You're going to let them know who you are, which we're going to backtrack a little bit. I'm going to show you how to do that before the webinar. But these are the things you're going to get ready for the first, is you're going to get this webinar ready. Super short introduction, because you're going to spend that previous month warming them up and having them get to know you. And then you're going to teach. You're going to give some level of value. You don't want to be in a webinar where people only feel like it's there to be sold and they didn't get any other value from it. If you host a webinar, your goal is that people are happy when they leave, even if they don't buy. They shouldn't feel like there was no point in that without buying. Okay, so make sure that you are actually teaching. It's not just hype. Those are really annoying. If you ever got suckered into one of those webinars, you don't want that to be you. So you want to teach, you want to give value, and then you want to overcome all of the possible objections that they might have. And then you're going to start doing a value stack and showing all of the value and the things that are coming in your program. Obviously, there's a lot to that, to making it really good. If you think you need help with that, comment info. We'll chat. We'll see how we can help you out. But you're going to work on your webinar slides, and you're going to practice live, like set up the whole scenario and do it live several times before you do it. If this is your very first one, absolutely, like set up the webinar platform, like get your water, get all hyped up, and do it live like it's real. You're going to time yourself. You're going to practice it. You're going to do it live a few times. Okay. Then, so you're going to have your webinar ready. You're going to deliver that webinar live on the 1st. So that means that's when the cart opens. On that webinar, you're going to give them a link to purchase. And that's, the cart's going to be open for a few days afterwards. And then you'll close the cart maybe on the 4th or something like that. Okay. And you'll have all kinds of emails sending out to them to remind them of the due date, or like the closing cart, right? And if you have any bonuses that expire on certain days, awesome. It creates real scarcity or urgency. It gives them a reason to buy, because we're so busy. Let's face it, like we've got our task lists. Task lists are forever long. Like they just don't stop. And so we will, unless we have a specific reason why we have to do something right now, it's going to stay on the to-do list. So give them a reason to do it right now. So if they buy on the webinar, you're going to give them a live coaching call, a one-on-one coaching call. If they buy before midnight that night, they're going to get this bonus. If they buy by whatever time the next day, like give them lots of bonuses that expire at certain times, so you can email them like, oh, don't forget, make sure you get it in by blah, blah, blah. And really give them a reason to pull the trigger, move things forward. Now, how do we even get people into the webinar? That's huge. How do you get people believing you, right? You don't have testimonials yet. So what's really important to make a launch webinar successful, you need to warm them up before the webinar. They don't know you, and you don't have testimonials of people who've gone through your program to vouch for how awesome you are and how awesome your program is. That means they don't get third-party validation, so they need first-party validation. They need to get to know you before you try to sell to them. Build that know, like, and trust factor so that by the time you do the launch, they're comfortable purchasing from you. Okay. So Tamika, great question. What is the best way to generate leads or traffic for your webinar? There's good, better, and best, right? So there's lots of ways to do this, and there isn't one way. So anybody who tells you there's one way, that's not true. There's a lot of ways to do this. you got to figure out what works for you and your situation. And that's what we spend a lot of our coaching clients when we're working with people is talking about what works for them and their situation, because their audience and their schedules and like there's a lot of different factors to figure out. I am not a big proponent of networking on Facebook. So that's where people are friend requesting a bunch of people, messaging them, just hustling and grinding. Does it work? Yes, it works. You can make sales that way. You can build relationships that way. All of that works, but it's also a lot of time. It's not my favorite way to do things. Okay. I got a life, I got a family, I got business to do. I got all kinds of stuff. I don't have time for that. But it is an option. Okay. But you have to be really regimented about it. You're like, I'm reaching out to 10, 15, 20, 30, whatever people every single day. And I'm going to talk to blah, blah, blah. And you're going to have all of these specific things really laid out. So networking on Facebook is a way. Now, if you network on Facebook, you absolutely should be posting and giving content and doing all of these things on your personal profile so that you're giving them value, right? So they can see what you're about. So that is one way. Another way is being a guest on people's podcasts. Now, that by itself isn't going to generate you a lead. That is a way to generate traffic. There's a difference between traffic and leads. Traffic is like getting someone's attention. It's being exposed to someone. A lead means they opted in and now they're in your system. They raised their hand for something that they're actually interested in whatever you have to offer. So a podcast guesting, like we're offering for our podcast, that could be a really good opportunity for you if the audience overlaps with the type of people you want to work with, and those people have an audience. If they don't have an audience and they don't have other platforms to promote that podcast to, so like our podcast, brand new, we just started last week. I'm not going to tell you we got millions of downloads. However, we got a lot of followers and subscribers and other things on other platforms that we're chopping up that content for, and we're going to be pushing it to. So yeah, like we're going to be promoting you all over to like 200,000 people. So that's a big opportunity. So get in front of people who have a real audience and who overlap with you, but then you need to give them a link. They need to opt in. You got to offer a freebie. So you need a lead magnet. You need a lead magnet funnel that when you podcast guest with someone, they can include it in their show notes and people can opt in. You can say, hey, head over, it's in the show notes. I've got XYZ tip sheet to help you do blah, blah, blah. Make sure you grab it. Okay. So you can generate leads that way. I love paid traffic though, especially if you're short on time. Paid traffic can be really, really effective. And so generating, like, as soon as you have that lead magnet created, that means you're creating that tip sheet, you're creating that freebie, that giveaway, you're setting up that funnel. Okay. That to give people that freebie, to get them on your email list, to potentially also get them in your Facebook group. And now you can drive paid traffic. We can set up a Facebook ad to generate the lead. You got the lead magnet ready to go? Great. Well, maybe you have all of that ready to go by, next Tuesday, the 5th. Okay. You did everything I told you. You're ready to rock and roll. You're ready to start generating leads. Awesome. Start generating traffic. Okay. Turn on an ad that's getting them on your email list, getting them in your Facebook group. And in that Facebook group, you're doing once, twice a week, you're doing live trainings, you're teaching, you're connecting, you're having conversations, you're really connecting with folks, and you're building that know, like, and trust. And you are talking up what's coming, right? You're talking up like, hey, I got this super awesome training. It's coming January 1st. It's going to be off the hook. You can't even imagine. It's going to be so awesome, blah, 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 right? Like you're going to like whatever's authentic and real, right? But what's cool about what you're going to do on January 1st? Get them excited about it. Tease it out to these people. Get them just help. They're going to fall in love with you, right? They're going to know, like, and trust you. And then when you do the live video, you do the live webinar on the 1st, you're like, they know you. They're comfortable paying you $500. You're not somebody that they just got introduced to that day. They're someone that they know, like, and trust and are willing to purchase from. Make sense? So if you want 20 sales, let's do some reverse math. I should have done 10. I should have kept it at 1,000 because my math would be easier. But let's say you're going to want a lot of people on that webinar. Okay. So let's start with 10. If we had, like, we have a client, she has crazy conversion rates, but like 10% conversion rate on a webinar, that's really, really high. But that makes my math easier. So 10% conversion rate. So that would be 200 people, I believe. Yeah. So 200 people on a webinar. Okay. If you have a 10% conversion rate. Now that's really high, a really good conversion rate. Realistically, I'd probably want to aim. My goal would be like shoot for the stars, right? Or shoot for the moon, or whatever that saying is, but go high. So maybe say, I want 1,000 people on that webinar or to register for the webinar. Super high. That's awesome. Are you going to get that? Maybe not, but shoot really high for it. And once you have about a week before the webinar, maybe a week and a half, you can start promoting it to get everyone registered, promote it everywhere. You got your email list, your Facebook group, content everywhere. On top of that, this is where you leverage affiliates. Episode number 2 on our podcast, our good friend Mark Harbert talks about how he made $300,000 in a period of 10 days during his launch this year. Yes, $300,000 in 10 days. Now, that's from other people's lists. He didn't do any paid traffic. He promoted to his list, but that wasn't all from his list. He got that from other people's lists. He used affiliates. This is where it's awesome to create relationships with people who have audiences. Makes a lot of sense, right? So that you can leverage their audience, get them to share your webinar with their audience. You can do an official affiliate program where you're going to offer them a percentage of the sale. If they're, really nice and close friends, maybe they won't even do that and they'll just promote it to you for free. So using other people as well to promote to existing audience works really well. Do you think showing your face in ads generates more lead? I like showing your face. I love it when my face is used in our ads because it builds a brand recognition. There's usually often a face in our ads, and we prefer for it to be mine, as long as we've got a good picture that kind of fits for what we're doing in what we're looking for in that ad image, because it builds brand recognition. Even if they don't opt in, they're seeing my face. I want them to see my face everywhere, right? So that they start to remember me. It starts to build familiarity when they think about selling high ticket coaching programs or courses or anything like that. I want them to see this face. So I will always use my picture whenever I can. So that's a great question, Tamika. But between your paid ads, affiliates, all that kind of stuff, you can drive a lot. Like Mark, 300,000 in 10 days, right? If you want to hear the story behind that, go to Digital Trailblazer podcast on any of your podcast apps. But it's a great way to connect with people. So there are several levels in there are several levels in online business building, like your and Todd's courses. Yeah, thank you. I don't know if there's it looks like a statement, but it's got a question mark after it. So please clarify, Mark or Mike, if you've got if there's a question for me to answer in there. But the goal, if you want to take bigger swaths or bigger steps at this, I want you to get your outline and your marketing message done like today. And then you're going to work on that lead magnet and the lead magnet funnel. And then you're going to start driving traffic and loving on and nurturing those leads. and then launch January 1st. Building and nurturing your audience is the most important part. It's the part that most people underestimate. They underestimate how much effort and that's going to take, how much time it's going to take. But building and nurturing that audience is where the sales are going to come from. So give yourself plenty of time. Know that it is a process, it is a journey, but that's where the money is. All right. So start driving traffic, generating those leads, and then nurturing those folks, and then do your live webinar on the 1st. And there you go. $10,000. That's 20 sales. 20 sales. Okay. How do you create amazing marketing message? Tamika, that's really, so we might want to talk. That's what we do with our coaching clients, is to really help them flesh this out because it's really important. But like for an example, when I talk to folks, a marketing message shouldn't be, that's interesting. A marketing message should make people go, wow, I need to work with you. We had a live workshop this summer. It was summertime. This last summer that we did. And we had people on a live webinar, and we had a nice lady who said, for heaven's sake, please drop your link already. My credit card is burning a hole in my hand. That's the example of the I need to work with you, right? That's when your messaging is super duper duper on point and is really juicy. The basics, though, is really tangible result that people want. Okay, that is the core of this. And then backing that up into who specifically that's for, right? But the biggest piece that people struggle with, especially in like life coaching and some of like the softer spaces, where it can kind of get mushy, that's the biggest thing, is looking for those transformations. So like, if you're like, I help people get unstuck. Yeah. Like that could mean anything. Like that's such a vague result that would be really hard to sell. Versus I help people get unstuck in their careers so they can love what they do and get that promotion. That's specific. Right? So the more specific that you can get, the more tangible or measurable that transformation can get, the better. Okay. How many levels or parts of starting and building online business? Like gives me business idea, product. Yes. So there are, I honestly, like, I hate to say infinite, but there's always a next level, Mike, when it comes to building a business online. There's always a next level. So the basics, though, and this is what we cover. We walk people through these process, through these beginning stages, creating the offer, flushing out that marketing message, putting together your lead generation strategy, driving traffic, having a really good nurture and qualification process, having a really good sales system to actually convert those leads into sales. All of those things are what we work with people on. That's good. Okay. Tamika, right. Got it. I'm not a marketer. So that's my step by step. I have a course, an outline, and a program outline. Okay. So what is it? What is your course, Tamika? I could give you, if you're still here, I can give you some live coaching if you want. I think that would be helpful for folks. But yeah, I think one of the biggest challenges that we see is that it's just not juicy enough. Okay. It's got to be something juicy, like helping, like, so for our Twitter course, that was our first course that we launched. We did crazy on it. That course we launched, and we, it was like generate up to 28 leads a day for free for network marketers on Twitter. And in a world where they were stuck hustling on Facebook and grinding for every lead that they ever generated, it was a breath of fresh air. They were sick of bugging their friends and family. They were sick of begging people to check out their stuff. They wanted to generate real leads and they didn't want to spend hours and hours a day on Facebook to do it. So we had a strategy that they could set up and leave alone, like set it and forget it, Ron Popeil, right? So you could set it and forget it and generate up to like 28 leads a day with Twitter. So it was juicy. It was so like, duh, like I'm sick and tired of bugging my friends and family to buy my product or join my opportunity. And I need another way to do this. And I'm not about to just start like stalking people in Facebook groups. So yeah, it was really, really juicy. Mindscape, conquering the battlefield of the mind. Okay. So the challenge, super vague. That means um, like that might be the title of it, but that's definitely not the marketing message of it. So the marketing message is what's the result people are going to get? Are they going to be healed from depression? Are they going to find joy, find peace, heal a family relationship, reconnect with their spouse? That's what's selling. Like people, like our program doesn't have a name. Like no one sees the name of our program. It's like Digital Trailblazer Coaching because it doesn't matter what the name is. The only time they see the name is when they're signing the contract. Like that's it. We don't put the name out anywhere. It just doesn't make sense for us because that's not what you're not selling the name. You're selling the value, right? And then they'll find out what the name is when they're buying. So getting really, really specific and on life coaches, mindset coaches, this is where you have to really put your thinking cap on and figure out how you're different and what's the result you help people achieve. And I would challenge you to get more specific. Mine course is on Learn World and that's why there's a name. Oh, is that like a platform like Udemy? I'm assuming. Yeah, I'm assuming that's what that is. Oh, but if you could rename it once you figure out your marketing message and you can change the name to if it is one of those marketing marketplaces. Okay, good. Yeah. You should change the name to actually speak to the result you're helping people achieve. More people will buy it because that's what they want, right? Because they're like, huh. So this is really good. I'm like, huh, that's interesting. Conquering the battlefield of the mind, going on with my day, right? Versus speaking to a really specific pain point, speaking to a really specific goal that people want, that gets their attention. You have to essentially get into the conversation that people are already having in their heads. Like you have to really understand what are they saying, what are they thinking, what are they feeling, and in your marketing and in your messaging, you need to answer those questions. You need to solve those problems for them so that they're like, oh, this person really knows this stuff. If you want a great example of this, type in VSL in the comments, and I'll get you a video of ours that does this beautifully, and you can see how we're answering questions, how we're doing this preemptively, and really getting into the mind of our people because it just makes sense. Right. So awesome. Okay. My voice is going out. I have to see my kids before I have I still today. So I want to wish you guys a blessed rest of your week. I will be back on Monday at 7 Eastern, 6 Central, 4 Pacific time. Yeah. So I will see you then. You have a blessed week. Again, comment info to chat. See how we can help you out with this. And if you want to apply, if you haven't talked to us yet about being a guest on our podcast, absolutely click or type in guest. If you're on YouTube or LinkedIn, there'll be a direct link. You can just apply. Otherwise, type in guest if you're somewhere on Facebook, and we will get you that application. Okay. Have a blessed night, ladies and gentlemen. Bye.